Hi there, I'm Ethan of Read Spell Thrive, and welcome back to my tutorial on setting up LibreOffice for use with my letter tile templates. My templates allow you to manipulate letter and Orton Gillingham inspired tiles on screen for use in online tutoring. A link to purchase my templates are in the description below. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to install the optional toolbar I've included in the templates. Once you've downloaded my templates, you'll find a folder called Toolbar. Inside that folder, you'll find a file called custom toolbar lettertiles.xml. In order for us to install this toolbar, we must copy this folder into the associated folder for LibreOffice. There are two ways of going about this. The first is we can copy this into the users folder for our computer. Now, these instructions are only going to be relevant to Windows computers. If you've got a Mac, there will probably be a similar folder, but it'll have a different way about going and getting there. And you'll have to figure that out for Mac. I'm not sure what that's going to be. But the other option is to put it under the program files for LibreOffice, and that will install it universally for the whole computer. The advantage of installing it for the single user is that when you upgrade LibreOffice, the toolbar will still be there. If you put it in the universal one, you'll have to install that toolbar again each time you upgrade LibreOffice. So I'm going to show you both ways, how to get there to the folder in both ways. So first we'll have a look at doing it for the users folder. So if we minimize that, let's go to our file, our custom toolbar lettertiles.xml, and we're going to copy this. We're going to right click, copy it. Then we're going to open up another our PC, this PC folder, and we're going to go to our local C drive. Once we're in our local C drive, we're going to scroll down, find our users folder. We're going to go into that. Then there'll be a user under your username for the computer. My username for this computer is Ethan Glasby, so I'm going to go inside of there. Then in this next step, you've got to make sure in View that you have hidden items ticked. If it's unticked, you won't be able to find the next folder, but if you need to have hidden file items ticked. Once you've got hidden items ticked under the View in your Windows folder, you'll be able to find the app data folder. We're going to go inside of that, and then inside of roaming. Then we're going to go inside of LibreOffice, inside the folder called For. We're going to go inside of that folder for user, then config, soffice.config, into the modules, into the S drawer, so for drawing, and then we're going to go under to our toolbar, and then we're just going to right click and paste our custom toolbar lettertiles.xml file into this folder. So that would be then install it for our single user. So this is probably the best place to put it, because if you upgrade LibreOffice, it'll still be there and you won't have to go through this procedure again. But I'll show you the other way you could install this, which is by we go back to our PC, our local C drive, and then it'll be in one of your programming files. If you downloaded the 64-bit version, it's going to be in program files. If you download the 32-bit version, it'll be in program files x86. But I installed the 64-bit version, so I'm going to go to program files, and then I'm going to go to LibreOffice, and then inside of LibreOffice, we're going to go to Share. And this is where it can be a little bit tricky to find. And now we're going to go to Config. And then under Config, we're going to go to soffice.config. Under soffice.config, we're going to find the modules folder. We're going to go inside of modules. once we're inside of modules, we're going to find SDraw folder for, and then under that we got our toolbar. So this is the other place that we could copy that file. So we could again right click and paste. And it might ask you for administration permissions to copy into this folder. So I'm just going to click continue. It's going to copy it to there, and that way we've installed our letter tiles toolbar now. I'm going to come back in a sec and show you how to set that up in the program. So once you've copied the file into the relevant folder, the next step is to go ahead and open up Libre Draw or one of the templates. And then what you want to do in order to view the toolbar is go to View, down to Toolbars, and locate the Letter Tiles toolbar. And you want to make sure there's a tick beside it. In my case, it was already ticked. If it's not ticked in your case, select it, and that's going to turn on the toolbar. You'll also notice there's a couple of other toolbars already ticked, Standard and Drawing. We want to turn these off in order to declutter our workspace. So I'm just going to click on them to untick them. So I'm going to untick Draw. I'm going to go back to my toolbars, and I'm going to untick Standard. And that's just going to declutter our workspace. And that's going to leave you with the Letter Tiles toolbar, which is these tools here. And I've specifically picked out these tools because they're the ones I've found most useful when working with the letter tiles, and this just declutters the amount of icons on the screen when students are working with me. So I'll go through a quick run through of the different options available on the toolbar. So if we go down to our letter tiles here for an example, on the very left hand side we have our undo and redo buttons. So if you need to undo something and go back, you can go back up here and undo the action. Next alongside it is a couple of tools for decluttering our workspace when working with students. So first one's the menu bar, so that turns off this top menu bar up the top here, so we can declick that or re-click it, and that's going to disappear the toolbars at the top, just giving less clutter on the screen again. Again, over here, the next one we got is Sidebar. So the Sidebar is this bar over here with you got multiple options over here. It includes the gallery. I'll do a later tutorial on what we can use the gallery for later on. For the moment, I'm just going to turn off our sidebar on our toolbar. Again, decluttering our workspace even more. And again, the next one we got is status bar. The status bar is our bar down the bottom here, along the bottom. And it has our zoom buttons, zoom in, zoom out, and there's a few more other bits and pieces, such as our slide number on the bottom. We can again get rid of that bar, turn it off, in order to declutter our workspace further. And you can always turn these options back on at a later date if you need to. Page pane, so that's this pane over here. It's got your different slides and pages in it. You can turn that off or on again. Next to that we got snap to grid. So if we turn off snap to grid, we can freeform our letters and put them anywhere. If we turn on our snap to grid, that's going to snap our tiles to the grid, keeping them uniform and in a line. The next one along is double click to edit text. So I usually turn this option off. I'm just going to show you what it looks like on. If you double click on a letter tile, you'll get the text tool, which means it's going to write text over the top of your letter tiles. I find this an absolute nuisance, so I like to turn this off so that students can't accidentally, when they're moving tiles, double click and put text all over it. So I just like to be able to turn that one off. But I leave it there in case you need to actually put some text in somewhere, so you can turn that one back on. The next few tools are about our view and our workspace. So the next one along is the shift tool. This allows you to just shift around freeform by clicking. You can move around the screen. I haven't had much use for that one yet, but I think it might be fairly useful for some of you, so you might like to play around with that. The next two tools are about displaying the page. So if we click the next one, page width, it's going to optimize our view for the width of the page. So that's from here to there. If you can see the white area, it's going to go from here to there and optimize the view for the width. But you'll notice that the vertical doesn't change when I click this button. It's only the width of the page. So the next one beside it, the entire page, that's going to recenter our view to be of the entire page. The other one next to that is optimal view. So that'll make sure we can see everything on the canvas, including all our lettered tiles that are out there. Next one's 100% view, so that just zooms you in. So I find the entire page is the one that I use most when I'm working with my students in order to recenter myself on the page. If we get lost over here in the units, we can come back and recenter our page. The last few tools are to do with text. You can insert free-formed line wherever you like by using our free-form line, or you can use a straight line and put in a straight line somehow. The other option I have is text tool in case you want to write some text on the screen. And so that's just an overview of all the options on the toolbar. So in my next video, I'll talk about actually how we go about using the tiles in order to teach a lesson. Alright, see you then.